recently.
Okay, we know that's a lie. All right, never mind. Camden, why don't you come take Jay's mic, dude? You know that's bad.
Why
dude,
did she leave you, Jay?
No.
Okay,
She
yeah, what
left
happened?
me.
What
She
happened?
left me.
Yeah.
Where?
I came home
Where?
from work the other day, and she had her bags packed, and somebody told her that I was a pedophile or something like that. So she says to me, she's like, "I'm leaving you because somebody told me that you're a pedophile," and I was like, "Those are pretty big words for a 12-year-old."
So she left hefty bags in hand.
Wow, that took you that long. That's what you pulled out of your hat, dude. Great, thank you, Jay.
Well, what else
Appreciate
has been
that.
going on?
That's all I got.
You guys are going to see Trump in a day or two, right?
No, I'm not going to see Trump in a day or two. I got
You're
to
not
work,
going?
man. I'm a working man. I got two
I
jobs.
wanted to, but their tickets were all sold out.
Yeah.
See, I told you had to buy tickets. You told me you didn't.
You don't have to buy them; they give them away.
Oh,
but
okay.
tickets were already.
Well, Chuck, if you
gone.
want, you could probably hop on a bus and hang out in front of the convention center and just beg for money or something. I don't know.
I was thinking about just going down and wearing a turban and a beard just to see if I can get on TV.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you wear a Kevin Holly show T-shirt while you're doing
I'm
that?
doing that, yeah.
Real good
And
idea,
just see if
Chuck.
I can get a shot in the paper, you know.
You know,
as a
we should.
protester.
We should. You've been talking about doing the Chuck on the street thing.
Yeah, the
You
man
know,
on the street.
We should do something like that because you've teased it a million times, but you haven't done it, and this would be a great
It's
opportunity.
kind of hard for me to videotape myself while I'm doing this.
No, you get a selfie stick and periscope it, dude. Just point it at you.
Yeah.
Talk right into it.
Huh.
People will
Well.
be chatting you up, and you can talk right back to them. You don't have to touch the phone once. You just
We
hold
could
it in front
do
of you
this.
and walk around and talk.
Yeah, that'd be
Interview
fine.
people.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. All right, so Chuck's going to do that Friday night. So we're going to have Chuck on the street.
You know how many jobs I have, Kevin. You know,
Yeah.
Well, this one you'll actually get paid for, Chuck. The show's going to pay
Yeah.
you,
Actually, yeah. I've been rethinking my strategies here lately, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're going to have to take
I-
that up with HR. That's all I got to say.
I would like to do it. I'd like to go down there. I might
Yeah.
just go do that and represent.
Yeah, just go down and roam around downtown.
Jesus, Chuck, you're hot, bro.
All right, thank you. You think Stinky's good looking? Hell.
Yeah, you could get a Kevin Holly show burqa. Thanks, Krispy Kreme. A Kevin Holly
I
show.
would roam around to see what kind of freaks are out there, man. You know, see what's
Dude,
going on.
Chuck would last 15 minutes down there before he's in a bar, drinking, getting nothing done.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what happened to all there was no coverage down here? There's so many people. They must have had some
Yeah, there
kind
was
of.
no cover charges.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, he'd make something up like they killed all the cell phone signals or something because
Exactly.
I could see it now. It would be a big
Kevin, I actually got to
conspiracy.
meet him and talk to him. And he says he knows you.
Yeah, well, me and Trump go way back, dude. No, seriously, when I worked downtown in Tampa, remember they were going to be building Trump Towers?
Yeah.
Well, that particular plot of land had been cleared, and they were starting to do the actual building of it. And I worked in the Cap Trust building right next door to it on the same piece of property. We used to park on the cleared land. That was where we would park until they told us we couldn't do it.
Oh, that's a brush with fame.
Well, no, he would come into our building. He had an office in our building. It was only a 4-story building or a 6-story building. We were on, I think, the second floor, and I think the whole penthouse suite, the whole floor was for Trump and his associates. And he would every once in a while he'd be in the elevator. I never personally ran into him, but a couple of the other guys that I worked with did, and they said he was really nice. And this is back in 2006. And I guess for whatever reasons that never happened, and there's still no building on that piece of property there. So it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, people said he was really nice. He'd hold the door open, let people in the elevator, and people like this one guy, Lank. I used to call him the missing Lank because he looked like the dude from the Green Mile. This big giant black dude with the big eyes, right? Really, really polite. This is a funny story. The first time I met him, my first day working there, right? I show up for work, and they started introducing me to the people that I was going to be working with, and they bring me over to Lang. He ran a copy machine all day. That's all I did was make copies all day long. We did legal documents and stuff. It was document preparation, whatnot. So anyway, long story short, they walked me over to him and they're like, "Hey, this is Link," and I'm looking at him like, "Man, the dude's huge," And I shake his hand immediately. And at the time, I had long hair, big bushy goatee, and he's like, "Oh, very nice to meet you, Mr. Hawley," and he made his eyes really big, and I was like, "Okay, cool," and it turns out he was an ex-arena football player, right? So a little while later in the day, I'm going on my lunch break, and I go up to the elevator in the hallway, and I hear the door shut behind me, and I hear footsteps, and I'm standing waiting for the elevator, and here's Link just shows up right next to me. I could feel his presence, and all of a sudden there's this 6'6", 325-pound ex-football player dude, and he's standing next to me, and I hit the button again to make it open faster. I'm getting nervous, and we get into the elevator, and the door shuts, and I hit one to go down, and I look at him, and I figured I'm going to break the ice right now. And I looked at him, and he looks at me, and he's like waiting for me to say something, and I said, "Hey, Link, listen, just so you know, in confined spaces, don't get too close to me because I get a little freaked out and I just start swinging, man. You don't want that, dude." And he looks at me and his whole demeanor changed. He's like, "Yeah, man, it's cool, man. Yeah, no big deal, man. You're a funny guy, man." Totally different than the Green Mile that he introduced himself as, "Oh, Mr. Hart." He had played me for 4 hours that day up until lunch. It made me think that he was like the dude from the Green Mile. It was crazy. And ever since that day, we were tight. We were cool with each other, We depended on each other for the job, naturally. And one final thought about that is he had a boat, and at the time I had a boat repair shop. And he always would ask me, "Can you get me a bearing for my outdrive? That's all I need, and I get back on the water." And then, we were talking like, "Yeah, we'll go out fishing." He's like, "Yeah, 3 of us will go out, 2 will come back." So I stayed away from him after that. You know what I mean? But
there's so much about this that I want to say because when he first started telling this story, I was like, "Oh my God, he's in love with this guy, right?"
Yeah.
And then he ended up in an elevator with this guy. And he was like, "Hey, he acted all tough." But really what I think happened was, Kevin, you said, like, "Oh my God, you're such a great, big, beautiful man. Let me kneel before you." And then you stood up in front of him, and it looked like you were kneeling. And
yeah, that's hilarious, Jay. You're so funny, dick. That's everybody's sentiment. That's what I'm getting on feedback here, and everybody thinks the same thing. Pops, go ahead and hold on a second. Let Pops clear his throat here a second. Hold on here.
I would like to take control here for a minute.
Okay.
I'd like to ask each one of you.
Sorry.
Take a minute or two. I'm going to put Chuck on homeless under the gun here. But I want each one of you to think about who's the most famous person you ever conversed with.
Sure.
Chuck, I'm talking about for real now, no BS.
With? Well,
the most famous person that you've ever interacted with in your life.
Famous in what arena?
Well, in your estimation.
Well, I used to hang with a fair amount of porn stars. I mean, I used to have like Ron Jeremy's numbers.
I knew it was going to be all dudes, man.
I'm talking about.
I knew it was going to be all dudes.
Did you ever interact with anybody that everybody in the room would know who you were talking? Who you were talking about?
And all that stuff. Yeah.
That's all you got, Ron Jeremy?
No, there was a bunch of them.
Chuck's got the floor.
Sorry, boss.
Anna Mall, Tara Patrick, all those gals. Yeah, but that was 15 years ago.
None of us know them. I'm talking about.
Jay does.
Who would interact with?
Jay's got
him on my phone.
I ran into Dan Marino one time down in Miami.
Dan Marino?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah, I was kind of drunked up, and I wasn't a football fan. I yelled something obnoxious at him. Other than that, Bernie of the Love Boat. Hung out and had a beer with him one night.
You had a beer with him?
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders?
No, Bernie, the character. I don't remember his name. Bernie, the guy that played Bernie on the Love Boat.
On the Love Boat.
Did you have a beer with him on a boat?
No.
Okay.
No, they were playing at the Showboat Dinner Theater, though.
Well, that works. All right, that's cool.
6 degrees there. I saw Farrah Fawcett came into a nightclub where I used to work, and she went into like a back room. I really didn't wait on her or attend to her, but
Farrah Fawcett?
Yeah, that's about it. Stood next to Robin Zander in a urinal in a bar and said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Good.
Yeah, so
okay, Kevin.
Same question.
Yes.
Man, there's so many, because being a world famous celebrity internet radio show host that makes millions and just dedicates his free time to do this charity work
Cut
here
the
with
bullshit.
you guys.
Cut the bullshit and answer the question.
How come Chuck didn't get talked to like that?
Because I knew people.
Okay. I could say that. I've met Mr. Lifto from the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow. That was
Nobody
pretty badass.
ever heard of him.
Okay,
We're talking about somebody that we all would know.
I sat next to
Oh, I got one I sat next to. Forgot
Hey,
about him.
Kevin's got
I'm
the
aware.
floor.
I'm aware.
I know you.
Thank
you,
you, Pops.
you have a right to interrupt like he did you, but
That's all right.
please,
I
give him
can-
the floor.
I can one up Chuck with having a beer with a guy. I had a beer with Mickey Rooney during the Super Bowl that was in Tampa. We were celebrity watching and paparazzi watching. We actually secured a high top table at the Hyatt Regency bar after work and sat there until they started pouring into the hotel. And Mickey Rooney's bar chair, similar to the one I'm sitting in right now, was bumped up against mine. And hi, Mr. Rooney, nice to see you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's probably the most famous person that I've ever said hello to in public.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. But when you think about it, just since we've been, Jesus, is everybody sick in here? Did I get you all sick?
Yeah, I think you did.
I didn't have a cough at all. I just had.
Mickey Rooney was quite a guy. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
But doing this show in the last, I'd say 6 months or so. Actually, probably even less than that. In the last 4 months, I've been interacting, and we've had people on the show that are celebrities. We had Chef Brian Duffy from Bar
Hey,
Rescues.
I'll accept Mickey Rooney. Now
Okay,
it's Jay Bird's turn. Jay.
Okay, well, let's see. I did serve. I catered parties at Brian Johnson from
AC/DC. That's cool. Can you get him on the
His
show?
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not so much.
I trick or treated at Walter Payton's house when I was a kid.
All right. I also Dick Vitale.
Dick Vitale.
Love you, baby.
Good.
All right. Going on a little bit further. Just recently at the restaurant, I served Mark Murphy, the CEO of the Green Bay Packers.
I met Ricky Skaggs once.
Camden, go back to sleep.
Kim,
Hey,
shut up.
good. Ricky Skaggs is
You
good.
dick.
Yeah,
You
Ricky
didn't
Skaggs.
you did you talk to Dave Wanstead?
Oh, actually, at the Super Bowl, I sat beside Dave Wanstead and Mike Ditka.
Ain't
Sat
no
right there
Skaggs.
with those geniuses.
Well, we
Geniuses
got the
of
guy
football.
from Boston, the original drummer from Boston, comes into the restaurant all the time.
Yeah, well, I also served
Mario Andretti.
the
He's in there.
hockey player Churma.
I was there that day. That was what's his name? The Bruins team captain. That guy's
Bruin.
huge.
Yes.
What was it? God, what the hell was his name? It was something like that. Chura.
Chura.
You got a laptop? Look it up, dude.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious.
No.
Don Shula, the football coach.
Yeah, Don Shula, the hockey player.
Yeah.
Don Shula is a football coach.
No, the
the
captain
most
of the
winning NFL coach of all time.
right. The hockey player that you're referring to from the Boston Bruins, the team captain, was he was slightly famous for an incident that happened where he checked somebody into the boards and the guy hit it just right. You can pull up the video. I think it was Chura, Chura, if I'm not mistaken. He checked somebody into the boards pretty hard. He's a big dude, and the guy broke his neck, and I think he died. And because it happened in Canada, they arrested him because it was a homicide. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not a homicide. I guess that has to be committed
Involuntary
during
manslaughter.
something like that. And he had to get out of it, dude. He got into some legal trouble for that. And of course, he did get out of it. But I saw the video. It's on YouTube. It was violent, dude. Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. I remember when he was there. And yes, Glick, the phone lines are open, 727-237-6010. Anybody that wants to call during the third hour,
All right, Pops, who's the most famous person that you interacted with?
Senator John F. Kennedy.
Really? Wait,
It was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and he was there. The entire top floor of the hotel was secure. But anyhow, Jerry Bruno was his advance man, and he was from Kenosha, where I was from. I was president of the Kenosha Jaycees at the time, and I got to sit at the table after he did his spiel, after Senator John F. Kennedy did his spiel. He was looking to run for president, and I was sitting probably like I am with you and Kevin, and he opened up for questions, and I said, Senator, you say you're going to do all these new programs, and yet you're going to cut spending. How do you propose to cut taxes? And he said, well, you'll just have to vote for me and see. Well, I didn't vote for him, but he did really. He cut taxes, and